as a medium, we need to make sure that we're looking after our own health and well-being. We can't always be in contact with the spirit world. In fact, I would urge people that are developing spiritually to maintain that good balance, to know that when they are working with the spirit world, they are open and therefore they are able to blend and sense the spirit world. And when they're not working, when they are shopping or driving or with their family, the spirit world will respect that boundary.
Your spiritual well-being in your mediumship development is really important. We're not talking about the processes of the understandings of the spirit world or the mechanics of what we need to communicate in the best way for the spirit world. What we're talking about here is the mindset of the medium, keeping it in a harmonious state of being. And in this world, in this modern world, it's a hard task to achieve, because we've got to stay as positive as we can, and that can be extremely hard in mediumship development and through the journey of mediumship, for the simple reason we are going to come across other people. Now, in no way, shape or form am I being derogatory towards anybody, but what I'm talking about is the challenge of the mindset. As I, as an individual, have an understanding of how mediumship should be done, I have an understanding of my intent of why I do my mediumship practice, I also have a passion about what I do. And that sometimes brings me into the realms of other people's opinions, where they may not agree. And that is absolutely fine.
The ways that we look after our health and well-being are about focusing what is important to us. I know I've previously spoken about the opinions of others and not getting caught up in them. And this also includes staying on track with what we believe, not moving too far away from that, staying in touch with what our passion is, what our beliefs are, and what our intention is. Our intention, our thoughts, and our deeds and our words are what indicate our spirituality. Thinking good things, being spiritual on a certain day at a certain time, for instance, when we work with the spirit world, assuming that spiritual character is being the medium, but not necessarily developing spiritually. If we look at how to look after ourselves, it's about forgiveness, compassion, empathy, understanding, having that sense of looking at what the world might be like for another, and then taking a viewpoint of trying to give people the best opportunity to express themselves without judgment.
Because that is the rule of life. We are all individuals and see things differently. So there will be people that have a different mindset, a different understanding, and a different opinion. And there is nothing that I can do to control that, and nor should I, because mediumship is an individual act and an individual understanding and intention for each and every one of us. My truth will not be somebody else's truth, and their truth won't be my truth. And these might be obvious things to say, but actually they play a big part in our mediumship, because it's about keeping that spirituality growing and flowing within our development. And one of the things that can stop that inspiration within our mediumship is those opinions of others and how they think we should do it, and how they expect us to be, and they expect us to do things a certain way. Well, we all see things uniquely and individually, and keeping within our lane is one of the healthiest things that we can do.
Our energy system is what denotes our health and well-being. It's how we look after this energy system whilst we are working with the spirit world and whilst we are on our own downtime that makes us healthy. The fact of having to protect this needs nothing more than us to be aware of our health, our thoughts, our actions, our words. To be able to close down our system at the end of working with the spirit world requires for us to know that we're not in contact for the purposes of communication with the spirit world. We are sentient beings. We are naturally sensitive to our world unseen. If we take care of what we put into our bodies, the food, the liquid, the thoughts, the emanations of other people, then we are naturally looking after our own spiritual element of ourself.
Because if we're struggling to take on somebody else's thoughts, if they don't sit well with us, or we don't agree with them, then how can we flourish or meet the potential of our mediumship? So it's vitally important that we stay in our own lane, that we keep to our own truths. And that's the unique journey of mediumship. There will be many times that you will fall down and graze your knee, if you will. And you have to find your why to what's going to make you stand up again, brush your knees off, and carry on walking forward, developing. So it's really an individual journey, a unique journey, and a truth that you will find along the way to your passion, your purpose, your intention. And I hear a lot of people saying that they want to do mediumship to help others. Well, we've got to help self first by keeping a positive mind, by finding our passions, our purposes. Knowing our why is one of the healthiest things that we can do.
If we consider that the people around about us influence how we are, so if we're continually around people who are negative or who will always look on the negative aspect of a situation, then naturally we will become sensitive to that. It doesn't need for us to protect ourselves from it. It requires for us to be mindful of not paying attention to, because we know where attention goes, energy flows. And so if you don't get caught up in the drama of others, whether it be at work, in the workplace, or at home with family, or when you visit relatives, or when you're out and about in the public domain, then you're not going to be at risk of picking up anybody else's negative emotions. You might sense them, but a discipline of not taking them on is part of being spiritual.
But finding the people to surround ourselves with, because not everyone's mindset, as I've already explained, is the same. It's full of individuals who have unique ideas. And there's many ideas out there I don't agree with. Doesn't mean that they're wrong. It means that it's just their way. So staying true to self is vitally important. Finding your integrity and keeping that integrity is even more important. And not listening to other people. There will always be questions. I can remember back at the start of 2020 when the pandemic started and we were going online, and people said, "Oh, you can't do that. How dare you do that? It was different. It'll never work." But if we look around today, 4 years later, everything is online. People find it easier to be online. It has spread the word of the spirit to the masses. So not everything that happens is negative. We've just got to open our mind to progression. And as a medium, that's one of the healthiest things that we can do, is keep an open mind. take on other people's thoughts, find them interesting. And those that question you, those that challenge you, those that try to control you, well, you've got to understand that that's more about them than about yourself. So if we're staying in our own lane, doing the things that we feel is right, doing it with integrity, understanding why we have a passion for what we're doing, and knowing that is our truth, and knowing that we're not doing any harm, is where we keep that positive mindset, is where we keep that positivity within our well-being, within our mediumship development.
Now, there are ways that people like to induce a feeling of spirituality, whether it be scents, candles, smudging. All of that is individual to the person, but it isn't required for protection. The people around about us love us. And if we think about the living world here, the physical world, if you had somebody you cared about and you saw them walking into a situation where they were potentially putting themselves at risk, you would step in and offer guidance or influence them, or perhaps distract them and make them walk the other way or think about another thing. Our friends and family in the spirit world, our inspirers, our teachers, our guides, for the want of another name, do that. They will step in. They love us. They don't want anything bad to happen to us. We will attract to us those who are of a like mind, whose characteristics are similar to ours. Whilst we're working with the spirit world, of course, we are able to communicate with all walks and paths and experiences of people there that wish to communicate, but that's in a work setting.
And you have to question where you take that work. I remember a gentleman many, many years ago saying, you will pick and choose where you go and work. And I never really understood it, because I wanted to serve the spirit world as much as I possibly could. So for me, going here and there, I thought that was serving the spirit world. But actually, I quickly found out that not everywhere suits the energy that I carry, the mediumship that I want to bring across. Some people have different needs, and that's all well and good and fine. But for me to stay true to my intention and the work that I want to do, and the work that I believe I should be doing for the spirit world in the way that I believe I should be doing it, then I have to take my mediumship to those places that have the same thoughts, the same integrity. And that makes for a healthier time, a healthier mindset, and a healthier way to live.
Our spirit team, our loved ones, are there allowing us to work with that world unseen because we are in service. When we're in service, we should be working from a place of love and acceptance, not from a place of judgment or fear. So spiritual health and well-being is about being that way all the time, not just when we are spiritually minded or when we are working with the spirit world. It's a way of being.
And we have to understand that they are growing, and they are looking, and they are searching in those places that you may have been or you've done before in the past. And it's where they're at this moment in time, and we cannot be judgmental of that. It's hard to put into words what spiritual health and well-being really is, because it's a mindset. It is a understanding that is individual. It is a place that we have to search for and question to find what sits with us. What are our beliefs? What is our faith? What is our understanding? And that's the beauty of spiritual development, because we're finding our truth.
It's a walk of life. It's a pathway of many steps where we walk the walk. It's not a case of knowing the words and the talk. It's a case of living a spiritual life and trusting that you are being your best self at all times.